Good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughn for Sam Sports Report. Kansas State loses to Drake in a game they should not have lost. In a game that minuscules their tournament chances. Drake goes up by 20 in the game. Kansas State drops their fourth game at 6-4. Drake is undefeated at 10-0. As we said, Darius Maskus has 25 points. Drake got up by 20. In overtime, 73-70 was the final. Kansas State has lost 4 games that they should have not lost. Maybe any of them, certainly not all 4. Losing to St. John's, Drake, and before that, LSU and Liberty. Kansas State is not looking good in tournament hopes. May have to at least be losing to Drake last night. 12-6 in conference play to probably get into the tournament. And also Drake had 8 local players from Kansas City, and you're playing K-State. You should have more Kansas City area. Kansas State did not show up. Also, Ben McCollum is a coach there. He coached at Northwestern Missouri, so I'm sure if Kansas State wanted him, they could have him. He also won 4 D2 college national championships. So all the pudding was on the table for Kansas State to sign him, and said they chose Jerome Tang. And Jerome Tang and K-State didn't make the NIT, and Jerome Tang was talking about a new job at Arkansas. Is that where his rumor was going? He declined the job or was not promoted to that job. Instead, it was John Calipari, as I got him to go to Kentucky. And now Jerome Tang is pointing at the fingers. And while I don't agree it's the biggest story in sports in Kansas City, it's not the biggest news to me, but the local radio stations are all over it. So I feel like I've got to report it. Here's that and more.
Yeah, we it is hard. I'm a 58-year-old man, and I feel it. And I tell the guys that I feel it, and it changed how I was coaching early in the year, and I've been real transparent about that, and I had to find that balance, of that, because I'm called to love these dudes and help them mature. They're still young men, right? Like 18 to 23-year-olds that, they have to learn how to grow and handle it. And the lack of leadership at the NCAA and some of the decisions that were made with people way above my pay grade has put us in a vacuum where we have no direction, and we've thrust all this upon these young kids, right? And then we tell them, now be adults, right? Like I heard Fran Fischella say the other day, when a kid from another school missed a shot, he said, they pay him way too much to miss that shot, right? I watch NBA games, and they never say that about NBA players who make way more money than that, right? But Fran spoke what everybody's thinking, but it's the wrong thinking, right? It's wrong, and so, all we're going to do as a staff, we're going to keep loving these dudes. We're going to teach them how to, deal with the anxiety that comes upon it, and view it differently, and build their faith, in something that's greater than just bouncing a basketball, and help them to handle this so that they can become the men, husbands, and fathers that they're capable.
But these are the teams he's beaten: 345, 232, 364, 144, 216, and 362. Here is who he's lost to: 57, 68, 12, and 69.
That's not a tournament resume.
Not tournament.
It's not even close.
No.
And look, there's no shame. St. John's is that 12. They're a fine team. They're coached by a Hall of Fame coach.
I think they're going to be a tournament team, and I think they're going to be in the top 25 before it's all said and done. Their metrics are getting so high that like they've been a product of some bad luck. But I think St. John's going to be a pretty good ball club. I mean, they're 9-2 right now.
And those other ones, you don't have to necessarily.
Their losses are Baylor 15 and Georgia 39.
That's pretty good.
Like, to whom much is given, much is expected. And so there are valid points in what Jerome Tang is saying. I'll say this right now to the entire K-State basketball team, all our local teams, and anyone out there. You can quit. It's America. You don't have to play basketball for K-State. If you walk away, you won't get your scholarship. There may be some lawsuits involved with the NIL. I don't know how that works. I don't know that anybody really knows how it works. But you can quit. So if you don't like it, don't play. Okay? Don't take the money. Don't put on the uniform, and don't play. But for Jerome Tang, this act is wearing thin. You're in a bad spot. Your team is underachieving based upon the resources that were given to you to try and go build a team. You're not living up to the expectations of the contract extension you just signed, which, by the way, gave him a $500,000 a year raise of 2026, not the end of this season, the end of next season. Well after the end of next season, you have to pay the man $18.6 million. To make it easy, we're going to round up and call it $19 million. Jerome Tang is guaranteed to get $19 million. When he did not leave K-State, I don't know that it would have made the lead for us today till Jerome Tang opened his mouth. We came here to be a 1 seed. We didn't come here to just get in the tournament. We came in here to win in the tournament. Sweet 16s are expected. They're the norm. Elite Eights are certainly wanted, if not expected. Final Fours are wanted, and they're expected on a semi-regular basis, and championships are expected to be battled for. Mm-hmm. That comes with being a Kansas Jayhawk, and there's a level of that comes with any Power 4 program. And is Jerome Tang going to go to this speech after every loss? Because the way this team is playing, it looks like there's going to be a lot of them. I wonder when he's going to be tired of making this speech, because the fans are clearly tired of hearing this speech. And so if you're going to take the money, you got to take what comes. It's a job, the job of playing college basketball. It's America. Quit and go do something else. Stop playing basketball. Just be a student. Well, I can't afford to do it then. Then this is what comes with it. There are trade schools. So apparently there are people hiring, and if you don't want to do this, then go do that. All right? So it's a new era. This act grew thin real quick. I don't really care, but I'm kind of appalled that a guy who has got $19 million, he's going to get $19 million from K-State fan base because he's not going anywhere. I don't see K-State paying $19 million to get rid of him. $19 million, and that's through 26. That's not even at the end of this year. How we are 21 months removed from him being 21 months removed from him being Mr. Popular in Manhattan, Kansas, taking the team in his first year to the Elite Eight. And now we have a guy that's, I think, throwing kids' issues in front of the arrows that are being slung his way because his team that he put together is not performing.
And it's also his job to teach those players how to learn to cope with, how to ignore that outside noise and pay attention only to what's going on in the locker room. That's part of what he does. Nick Saban talked about one of the things he had to learn to deal with in his time with coach, as a coach, because social media came about, was learning how to convince players those opinions out there don't matter. The opinions you need to listen to are in here. Part of his job is teaching those kids how to deal with that, or just teaching them how to toughen up and say, look, this is part of the gig. This is part of what comes with it.
Mizzou decided to show up late last night against Jacksonville State, who led most of the game until about the 7-minute mark. Then Mizzou was able to take the lead, and Jacob Cruz had a very good night. He shot 6 from 9 from the field, finishing with 19 points. Mizzou wins by 11. Mizzou will have a tough game against Illinois this upcoming weekend on Sunday at 12. That game tips off in St. Louis. Patrick Mahomes seems more and more unlikely he'll play. We have that on Tomorrow's show will have more into that tomorrow. I thought we'd get into it today, but we just didn't have the time as Jerome Tang took up my story. That's Sam Von Sports.